Greetings from Handbell Musicians of America's 2026 National Seminar in Cincinnati, Ohio, and welcome to our pre-concert introduction to the world of English handbells and hand chime ringing. This week, hundreds of participants from the United States and around the world are immersed in all aspects of handbells, ringing, learning, creating, networking, refining tried and true practices, and experimenting with innovations, reuniting with old friends, and welcoming newcomers. Twice each day we gather to enjoy some of the very best performing ensembles. These concerts are also live streamed and enjoyed by thousands of people, many who know all about handbells, and possibly more who don't. We'd like to fix that. Thanks to a grant from the Coalition of Music Organizations, Handbell Musicians of America offers this pre-concert video to introduce you to the world of handbell and hand chime ringing, its history and culture, the techniques used in performance, and the art and versatility of this wonderful instrument. We hope it enhances your enjoyment and appreciation as you experience handbell ringing in the upcoming concert. English handbell ringing arises from the 16th century tradition of tower change ringing, and art still very much practiced in bell towers around the world. Racks of massive tuned bells mounted on wheels high in the towers are placed in motion by ringers far below, pulling ropes in intricately choreographed patterns. It was, and still is, a very public place to air very loud mistakes across the countryside, a physically demanding exercise, and sometimes an uncomfortably hot or cold setting for practicing and learning the ropes. Smaller bells with handles were cast, corresponding with the tower bell notes, allowing ringers to practice their mathematical change ringing patterns in a more comfortable setting. By the 18th century, with technology improving the accuracy of the pitches, these tuned bells also lent themselves to playing actual songs, and English handbell ringing as we know it was born. Today, thousands of people around the world embrace the art of English handbells, working together in close coordination to make beautiful music. Our organization's roots reach back to 1923, when Margaret Shercliffe gathered a small group of friends on Beacon Hill in Boston to ring her newly acquired set of handbells from England. In 1937, the New England Guild of English Handbell Ringers was formalized. In 1954, this guild sponsored the first American Handbell Festival, and the American Guild of English Handbell Ringers was formed. Ringing ensembles multiplied across the country, many established in churches as a new way to involve members in their music programs. Music educators, recognizing the pedagogical benefits of handbells, adopted them into individual and district-wide school music programs. Ringers, seeking more variety, established community-based performing ensembles, offering workshops for local ringers and concerts of sacred, classical, contemporary, and original music. Some musicians branched out into solo ringing and bell trees, while others discovered the challenge of small ensemble ringing. In 2010, we began doing business as Handbell Musicians of America to better define ourselves in the mainstream music world. This is our vision: uniting people to create a diverse community in which handbell ringers of every skill level realize their full potential through a musically respected art form. Our mission is to advance the musical art of handbell and hand chime ringing through education, community, and communication. Many of our members are teachers as well as performers, instilling a love of music and performance in their students, creating the next generation of ringers, directors, and composers. Ringing events create a sense of community and connection with other young handbell ringers across the country. We are still a relatively young musical art form, open to new ideas and new members. Handbell Musicians of America embraces creativity and diversity in all facets of ringing, as we strive to express our love of handbell ringing with the world at large. What is it about handbell and hand chime ringing that is so enticing? Every ringer has their own reasons, as unique as the instrument we love and as diverse as the music we play. There is a unique allure of this instrument and its growing influence and connection in the musical arts community. Very clearly, ringing with your friends is fun. Ringing is fellowship. Ringing is open to all abilities. It's an amazingly flexible instrument, carrying us to unusual venues, from baseball fields to underground caverns, and everywhere in between. Robust exercise for the body, and a welcoming challenge for the brain. Ringing is an outreach and comfort, an act of worship, a welcoming, hands-on introduction to the world of music, an engaging new skill in later life, a worthy challenge with great rewards, and a lifelong passion that keeps us focused and connected. Ringing can be an individual journey, but more often it's a collaborative group activity with 10 or more of your best friends. In all cases, ringing makes our lives more beautiful and, in turn, inspires and uplifts others when we share our music. We at Handbell Musicians of America hope this brief glimpse into the world of ringing will help you appreciate and understand the passion of the ringers you are about to see and how this instrument works.
Hello, my name is Catherine Gelato, and this is William J. Murphy, and we're here to share with you a few things about handbells. The three things we'd like to share with you are, number one, what they're made out of, number two, how they make a sound, and three, the range or how high or low handbells can sound. So number one is what they're made out of. Handbells are made out of a metal alloy made of copper and tin called bronze. But now, as you can see, this bell over here is not made out of bronze. It's actually made out of aluminum, but the majority of our handbells are made out of bronze. The second thing is how they make a sound. Inside our handbells are clappers, and when we ring the bell, the clapper strikes the inside of the bell to make it sound. Now, there are other ways to make sounds on handbells, but we'll talk about that later. For now, we're just going to ring them all for you. So last but not least, we'd like to share with you the sound of the range of handbells. So the first thing is that all of these are the pitch C. So when I say C, that's what it refers to, like A, B, C, D, E for G, a musical alphabet. The second thing you'll hear is the number, and the number refers to how high or low. So the lower the number, the lower it sounds and the bigger the bell. The higher the number, the higher it sounds and the smaller the bell. So first we're going to ring for you the C2 handbell. As I'm sure you anticipated, that was a nice low sound. So now we're going to get a little bit smaller and play the C3 handbell. And now we're going to continue on up to the C4. And here's our C5, C6, smaller, C7, C8, and our last one, C9. And this is our handbell family. So besides handbells, we also have hand chimes. And we also have a wide range of hand chimes, just like we do our bells. But the number one thing that is different about them is that they're made out of completely different material. Hand chimes are made out of aluminum, and they're not round like handbells, and the clapper is right on the outside. So again, just as a quick reminder, when I say C, it refers to the pitch. And when we say a number, it refers to how high or low. And that's what the range is, how high or low they sound. So first we're going to have our C2, and then we're going to make it all the way up to our C8, which is obviously our smallest one. Really awesome low sound. And when you get them in the right acoustical location, they sound amazing. So that was our C2, and as you can see, it was pretty much as tall as William. So our next chime will be the C3. So a little bit higher, but still a nice low sound. Next we have our C4 chime. And we're going to continue on up. Here's the C5. And then next our C6. C7. And lastly our little C8. So that is our hand chime family of instruments.
Hi everyone! Many thanks goes to Kathleen Wissinger, who brought us through the history of handbell and hand chime ringing, as well as the history of our organization, Handbell Musicians of America. We also want to thank Catherine Gerardo, who just showed you some of the instruments you're likely to see in this week's concerts. Both of these women serve on the national board of HMA, the Handbell Musicians of America. My name is Jillian Erlenborn, another member of the National Board of HMA, and I'll be taking you through some of the mechanics of handbell and hand chime ringing. Let's start with some of the equipment you're likely to see in the concert this week. We'll start with the obvious, which is this table that your ringers are likely to be standing behind. Each of the tables will have about 3 to 4 inches of foam on top, which protects the bells for various techniques that you might see, and we'll get into more of that later. You may also notice many of the groups using these binders. We tend to use split back binders that will sit on top of the table or sometimes on top of a riser to keep our music in. Now next up, you'll notice some of our ensembles may decide to use gloves. It's largely a personal preference for the ringer or for the director, but what it does is it helps to protect not only the bell from fingerprints, but also the ringer's hands so that they don't get too sore during the concert. You'll likely see some technique materials such as mallets in various sizes and potentially even wooden dowels, but more on that later. As Catherine mentioned, most of the bells you'll see in this week's concert will be made out of what we call bell bronze. The bell bronze is what makes up the casting, which is that bell shape you see from the exterior of the instrument. That casting is then placed on a handle, which is where the ringer will hold the bell. It is separated by a hand guard, which stops the ringer's hand from coming up and touching the metal and therefore stopping the sound. On the inside of the bell, we have what's known as the clapper mechanism. This mechanism moves from one side to the other in one plane, which is what differentiates this as an English handbell, as opposed to a bell that might have a free-flying clapper inside, like a dinner bell. On the bottom of the bell, on the inside, you have 2 restraining springs, which can be tightened or loosened depending on the ringer's preference. Generally speaking, you're going to have the bell be looser for the strike forward and tighter on the way back. This basically makes it so that the ringer can have an easier time ringing the bell without it accidentally ringing when they're coming back to damp. What is damping? Well, let's start with what is ringing. Can you take your hand and make a little circle with your pointer finger and your thumb? That's what's going to happen right up against the hand guard here. The rest of your 3 fingers are going to just rest pretty lightly on top of the handle. What this does is it gives your bell a nice plateau to rock on, while the other 3 fingers can be used to guide your squeeze of the handle to make that ring happen. When you start, you're going to start at ready to ring position, which is just here on your chest. You're then going to ring forward and down, give that little squeeze, and then bring the bell back up to your chest. That's generally our usual ringing formation. Our stroke is what we call it. Now, when you bring the bell back, that's what we call damping. And damping is how we silence the pitch. So it's important to note the casting is what's making the vibration, right? The metal vibrating is what's creating the sound. Not from the interior of the bell, like say a trumpet, where the air is coming through and that's what's making the vibration. Now, as you are moving your bell back, you want to make sure you get the whole vibration, the whole vibrating casting, to stop. If you only damp the lip of the bell, which is where the fundamental pitch comes from, aka what's on the handle, you'll have what's left over, all of those overtones, which are the higher pitches that give the bell its color. So if I only damp the lip, here's what it'll sound like. Those higher pitches remain. Whereas if I damp the whole casting, I get absolute silence, which is usually what we're after. Now, if I want to ring slightly softer or slightly louder, I really am just adjusting the speed at which the clapper is hitting the bell and the force that I'm using. So if I want a quiet ring, I can make a slow motion that is rather gentle. If I want a loud ring, I can ring the bell pretty forcefully and a bit faster. Now, the size of my ring and the speed at which I'm moving my arms usually has to do with the rhythm. If I'm going to be playing a whole note, I'm going to want a bigger circle that takes a while to get through. If I'm just ringing an eighth note, I might want to make a smaller circle that's closer to my body. There are a lot of similarities between handbells and hand chimes. The main difference, of course, being the shape of the instrument, as well as what it's made out of. The aluminum that is made to use a chime and the 90-degree angles of the body are what create such a pure tone in this instrument. Your ringing stroke is going to be very similar for a chime. The biggest difference is actually your damping. When you go to ring a chime, what happens is the clapper head strikes the chime on what we call the tines. This is where the vibration is occurring. So when you go to damp your chime, if you bring the chime back, clapper first, which is kind of the stroke of a handbell, you're not going to end up damping the chime. Instead, what we need to do is turn the chime inwards so that the tines are what's actually touching the chest of the ringer. Now, most chimes of any size are going to be rung in the same way, with the exception, of course, being the massive chimes that you saw William playing earlier, which are usually struck by a mallet. You'll usually hear handbells measured in the number of octaves that a group plays. An octave is one chromatic scale, including all of the sharps and flats. Many of the groups you're going to be hearing this week are going to be playing between 5 and even more than 7 octaves, which gets close to about 100 bells without even considering all of the extra chimes or specialty instruments they may be using. Handbells and hand chimes are actually a transposing instrument. They sound 1 octave higher than they are written on the grand staff. In order to help you understand what the ringers are looking at in their music, we've decided to scale it back a little bit for you just for now. This is an example of a 1 octave piece that's intended for 4 ringers. It's a short excerpt of a piece called Peals of Joy, written by Jason Krug. The ringers you're going to be watching are playing between F5 and F6, 1 octave of bells. We hope you enjoy. A full handbell score tends to look like a piano score, but for someone with a few extra fingers, maybe a lot of extra fingers. To make things a little bit more manageable, we're going to be using that 1-octave music you just heard. It will make it a little easier for us to show you what each individual person is actually doing. In most cases, one ringer is in charge of 2 pitches, for example, A and B. We're going to be watching a video of William, one of the ringers from the quartet you heard, playing that exact position. In this case, William's left-hand bells, his A notes, will be highlighted in blue, and his right-hand notes, his B notes, or in this case B flat, will be highlighted in red, and you'll see that along the bottom of the score. For an extra challenge, why don't you try to air ring along to see if you can keep up? Now let's try that one more time with the whole group back in again, because playing handbells is a lot more fun when you've got the whole set. This time, the group will be playing the same piece an octave lower, so you can hear the difference an octave makes. We'll leave William's score highlighted for you on the screen so that you can keep ringing along. As you get into more complicated music, there are an ever-growing number of techniques that handbell ringers use to create different timbres, or different sounds, on their instruments. Your composers and arrangers will show you what they would like to have happen in the score based on a series of markings that they might place. I will show you what those markings are as I show you which technique we're talking about. The first set of ones we'll talk about are our stopped techniques, which are also known as staccato techniques, meaning that the sound of the pitch is going to stop after the technique is done. For instance, our first technique is going to be a pluck. A pluck is shown by a small dot above the note, a staccato marking, as well as the letters PL. We're going to accomplish this by grabbing the clapper on the inside of the bell and throwing it to the casting. Okay, that's our pluck. It's usually done in the lower bells as a kind of percussive, fun, driving rhythm kind of technique. You can also do it up top. I don't think it has the same effect. That's just my personal preference. Next up, I'll show you the thumb damp, which is exactly what you think it is. You're going to place your thumb on the casting of the bell and play it like so. I think these create more of a castanet-like sound for the higher pitches. You can also add an extra finger or two to get an even drier sound if that's what you're after. With the bigger bells, you definitely want to add a couple of extra fingers because otherwise that vibration is just not going to stop. Now, we can also do this technique on our hand chimes by placing our finger in the tuning slot, which is the space between the tines here. Or with our bigger chime. Right? That is also shown again by that polka dot, the staccato marking, as well as the letters T, D. Next up, I have a plethora of mallets here. Our mallets are shown by the same staccato marking with a plus above the dot. Now, each of these mallets is a different size and color, and each one will create a different sound on the different sizes of bells, and they're designed for a particular size. So I'm going to use this mallet for our G4, and I'm going to strike the bell at just about the same spot that the clapper head would strike the bell on the inside. I can do the same with our smaller bell and our smaller mallet. You won't really see mallets being asked for chimes because it basically does the same thing as the clapper head hitting the tine on the other side. However, you will use those mallets on those really large hand chimes that William showed us earlier in the video. After our stop sounds, we have what are called sustained techniques, and those will sustain the pitch as opposed to stopping them right away. For instance, you might see an arrow pointing up and an arrow pointing down next to a longer pitch. This would be our swing. It's also sometimes marked as SW. A swing starts with a regular ring, and then you're going to take your back leg and bring the bell down to it, and then bring your bell back up. Like so. Usually the ringer will be facing forward and take a step back. I have to be very aware of my wall behind me. And that's going to create kind of a Doppler effect. It's very cool when multiple people do it at the same time, especially in a chord. Now, one of our stop techniques that I skipped over is called a mart. And a mart is when you take the handbell and you push it into the table. Its full name is actually martellato, which is Italian for to hammer. So you take your bell and you hammer it into the table. We're thankful for that foam right about now. Now, to make that a sustained technique, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to bounce off of the table. And that's our mart lift. One technique that you saw earlier in the Peals of Joy video, right towards the end, Catherine has a shake. And you can do that by doing exactly what you think, shaking the bell. You'll notice some ringers shake it front to back, and some ringers will actually turn the bell and shake it side to side, especially if they'll be doing that for a long time. You always want to be moving along with your shake so you can still get that sense of breath control and a change in dynamic as you're playing. Now, another sustained technique that I really like is called an echo. You're going to ring the bell, and you're going to touch the lip of the casting to the table, which will create a little womp womp kind of sound. That's another one that's really cool with the more people playing it. Now, the last one that I want to show you that you're likely to see in this week's concerts is a singing bell. This is kind of similar to a Tibetan bowl, if you've ever seen one of those, where you're going to take a wooden dowel and you're going to run it around the rim of the bell. Now, you'll notice it takes a little while for it to get started, but once it does, you'll have a really long sustained pitch that just makes the bell sound like it's consistently singing. Whenever the ringer wants that to stop, they'll simply lift the wooden dowel off, and the bell will either be held to sustain or damped. Now, at any point, a composer or arranger wants us to not damp and continue the sound for a longer period of time. They will likely write the letters LV, which stand for let vibrate. When you see a let vibrate, it basically means don't damp until you're told to again. That will be when there is a little bullseye sign, or if the letter R appears, which basically tells you to go back to regular ringing technique. You may also see some of the ringers in the concerts holding multiple bells and or chimes in one hand at one time. This is a very helpful technique, particularly for the higher treble ringers, when they have to play multiple octaves of the same pitches to bulk up a chord or a melody line. They can also use this technique to ring multiple bells that are maybe sharps and flats of each other in quick succession without having to come back down to the table. We call this four-in-hand. Usually, you'll have two bells laying on top of each other's handles, where one bell remains in the regular ringing formation, right, with the handle and the letter name facing you, while the other bell will only ring on the plane as if you were knocking on a door. With this setup, you can isolate the two notes, ringing regularly, ringing in that knock formation, or you can play them at the same time by finding about a 45-degree angle between the bells for them to ring together. Now you'll notice those were two bells of the same pitch in two different octaves. If I'm going to do that consistently, sometimes what I'll do is I will turn this lower bell so that the two clapper heads are facing in the same direction and their planes are equal. Now this way, when I go to knock, both of those bells will ring at the same time. If I don't want to do that and I want to be able to isolate them, I'll usually use what we call four-in-hand as opposed to what I just did, which is called Shelley. Now, as I mentioned before, there might be a time where a treble ringer specifically has to ring multiple bells very quickly with the sharps and flats. If I organize my bells in a smart way, I can go up and down a chromatic scale without having to put any bells on the table or pick anything back up. Now, when things get really complicated, sometimes you might need 3 bells in one hand. When that happens, it is generally 3 different octaves of the same pitch. So here I have G5, G6, and G7. If I hold these bells like so, with this highest bell now being held by my pinky, I can ring all of these bells in the 3 octaves, which will really help to fill out a chord. This happens especially at the ends of pieces, so keep a lookout for that during the concerts. We hope that this video has given you some insight into what's going to be happening on the other side of the table during the concert you're about to watch. Special thanks again goes to the American Musicological Society's Coalition of Music Organizations, who made this video and our pre-concert lectures possible through a public outreach grant. We are so thankful for your support and for helping to make this a possibility. We hope you all enjoy the concert. Thank you for watching.
Hi. Ah. What I was about to say was I totally want to get one of those because you all got so quiet so fast and it was fantastic. So, get ready because we're doing another speech. Hi. I am, and I am the Executive Director of Oh, you guys are so good. Thank you so much. Welcome to the 5th concert at our national seminar here in Sharonville/Cincinnati. I don't understand how there's 2 towns, but it's okay. We're somewhere near Cincinnati, Sharonville. So now, welcome to those watching online. Wait, don't wave yet. I've been told the camera to wave at now is by the drum set. Where's the drum set? There, wave to the camera. Hi. Hi to our friends watching at home. Our live stream broadcasts are sponsored by and that is Wilson Van Tyne and Phillips 66. Hi Wilson, I hope you're watching from home. Okay, I'm going to stop changing all the cameras now. Thank you to PBS CET, which is the Cincinnati PBS station. We love PBS. Yeah. Cheer for PBS. Please support PBS where you live. I will say that every time. So tonight, you will be taken on a musical voyage. Please welcome Ring Sarasota under the direction of Principal Conductor Rick Holdsworth and Associate Conductor Terry Chapman.
Hey kids, guess what? I won! We're going on a cruise.
Hazel, you should probably explain that a bit.
Oh yeah, Bob, I guess I should. We went to this Handbell performance. The group was chosen to perform their show at Handbell Nationals or something.
What is that?
I'm not sure, but it sounds like a big honor. So anyway, they had a raffle to raise money for the trip. Mine was the winning ticket. We won a cruise!
We'll send you pictures and let you know how things are going.
We're on our way! Here we are getting on the ship. I'm excited to meet all these new people. Look, this is our stateroom. It's the 5th one on the left, 3rd from the top, in the 2nd section. See it? Oh, and look at this life preserver that says, "Welcome on board." Isn't it darling? How kind of them to welcome us. Oh, I hope we won't have to use this one in a storm.
Oh, I'm sure we're going to have smooth sailing.
Oh, Bob, do you hear that? It looks like we're ready to sail away. So the first thing we did on the ship was have a safety drill.
Oh, Hazel, do you really have to tell him that story?
Well, you may be embarrassed, Bob, but I think it's a good cautionary tale. You see, your father couldn't wait to take advantage of the rum and Diet Cokes, since he could have as many as he wanted thanks to that beverage package we got. He hit the first bar we saw after we got on the ship and didn't stop until the captain announced that we needed to report to our drill stations. While the cruise director was announcing what we should do if there was an emergency, the other crew members were making sure we had our life jackets on correctly and pointing us to the lifeboats. Well, Dad decided he would demonstrate how to sit in a lifeboat, so he climbed into one. More like he fell into one. As the crew members were helping him out, our shipmates gave him the title Lifeboat Captain Bob. Now, whenever we run into one of our neighbors around the ship, they call out, "How's it going, Captain Bob?" Today was our first port of call. The ship dropped anchor and we boarded the launch headed for the island of Margaritaville.
And we met lots of new people. There was that brown-eyed girl.
And the man with the pencil-thin mustache.
And there was that man who claimed he was a pirate looking at 40.
Yeah, but he also said he was the son of a sailor. Oh my goodness, the food and the drinks. We started with cheeseburgers in paradise. And then someone shouted, "It's 5 o'clock somewhere," and the boat drink started to flow.
Yeah, Hazel actually joined a conga line when the Jollyman sang. She said to me, "Hey, Bob, why don't we get drunk and..."
Bob.
Well, after all, we had changed our latitude and changed our attitude.
You want to know the two things we took away from that trip to Margaritaville?
Poor decisions make good stories.
Yeah, and we are the people our parents warned us about. Oh, I wish this trip would never end. Girls, you would never believe the size ropes they used to hold this boat in place. I couldn't stop watching the sailors pulling them. They were so strong and powerful and rugged and...
I was talking to those guys the other day, and did you know that ropes were made of hemp until the late 19th century? Oh, and sea shanties were created to facilitate the pull and rest rhythm for raising the sails. One of the most famous sea shanties was actually British, even though the lyrics speak of South Australia.
Whatever, I couldn't really make out what the boys were singing because I was so mesmerized. but it was so authentic, delightful.
South Australia I was born. South Australia round Cape Horn. So haul away, you ruler king. Haul away, you'll hear me sing. We're bound to South Australia. With kangaroos and wallabies and cute koalas in the trees. So haul away, you ruler kings. Haul away, you'll hear me sing. We're bound to South Australia.
Kids, I signed us up for dance lessons yesterday. I thought it would be a fun romantic activity. I don't think your dad knew what I got him into. Gotta tell you, we learned a couple of things about ourselves. First of all, your dad has 2 left feet, and he dances like he's being mildly electrocuted in slow motion. It's a sight to behold.
In my defense, Dancing the tango while the floor tilts like a funhouse ride is not easy.
Yeah, and leads to lots of sore stepped-on toes. But we had a lot of fun.
We sure look good in our matching shirts for our lessons. We're quite the dashing couple, and I think we did a great job. I feel like we're ready to go pro.
Bob, we won't be auditioning for Dancing with the Stars anytime soon. But we did have a great time. Kids, can you go over to the house and make sure I turned off the iron?
Last night, we had a really wild, crazy night. It was pirate night, and I went all out. I dressed in my Pirates of the Caribbean wig, had a parrot on my shoulder and an eye patch, and even a plastic hook. I was in full pirate drag and ready to party like it was $16.99. Imagine our surprise when we were invited to sit at the captain's table. I'm sure we got that invitation because I looked so good.
Whatever you say, dear. But here's the real kicker. Instead of Lifeboat Captain Bob, they started calling your dad Pirate Pete. He ended up being the life of the party.
I pulled out my best pirate jokes. Want to hear one? No! The pirate goes to the doctor to have the spots on his arm examined. The doctor says, they're benign. The pirate replies, no, doc. I counted them before I came here, and there be 11. I got a lot more.
Today's excursion was to a lagoon where the water was absolutely crystal clear and such a beautiful shade of turquoise. Your father wanted to stay on board and tour the bridge, but I wouldn't let him. We donned our swimsuits and snorkel gear and set off to explore the world under the sea.
Did you see that mermaid?
Don't be silly, Bob. Mermaids aren't real.
I could have sworn I saw a mermaid.
Yeah, well, maybe if you hadn't had that rum and Diet Coke on the snorkel boat. Oh, the fish and the coral, they were so colorful.
But I took this picture with our underwater camera and look, that's a mermaid. Isn't it? It was wonderful to have a relaxing afternoon on the beach. The soft breeze reminded me of that 60s song, The Girl from Ipanema.
Bob, you mean Panama, don't you?
No, I really mean Ipanema.
Oh, now I remember. Is that a real place?
Of course. Ipanema Beach is on the southern part of Rio de Janeiro. Ipanema is known for its sunsets. Beachgoers gather at the western end of the beach to enjoy the sunset and the Twin Peaks. These days, instead of watching a girl walking along to the Bossa Nova beat, you're more likely to see surfers or a beach volleyball game.
Bob, why are you so familiar with Ipanema Beach?
Because I still think about watching that girl walking along the beach at sunset with some Bossa Nova music playing in the background.
Dream on, Bossa Nova Bob.
Your mother was absolutely beautiful last night in her new formal. We didn't get to sit at the captain's table, but our table's host, the ship's meteorologist, kept us entertained all through dinner with stories about dodging hurricanes. Did you know the waves from a hurricane can be felt 50 miles away? Even on a big ship like this.
Yeah, and your dad cleans up pretty nicely himself. He looks sharp in his rented tuxedo, and although we failed at the tango the other day, we can still do a pretty mean rumba. It was so much fun to get to dress up and dance with my sweetheart. And your dad is a good sport. We all know dancing is not really his thing.
My favorite part of the evening was standing on the deck with my arm around your mom's waist, watching the moon shine on the water as we headed to our next port.
Oh, kids, I gotta tell you, today didn't start well. After a lovely night of dining and dancing, we thought we would sleep in. Oh, you tell them, Bob.
Oh, I was looking forward to having a leisurely breakfast and a Bloody Mary. Instead, the captain's voice came over the cabin speaker announcing that we were in for rough weather and breakfast was canceled.
Rots doesn't even describe it. The winds were roaring. Oh, and the sea was churning. I thought the waves were going to swamp the balcony. It was a fury. I kept reminding myself, breathe in, breathe out, and I held on to Bob for dear life. It's a good thing we didn't have breakfast.
It seemed to last forever, but just as quick as it started, the storm subsided. We were blessed with the most beautiful view of the sea and a rainbow.
Oh, kids, this cruise was awesome. Dad and I had the best time, and we made such great memories. I just love these ocean vibes. Remember, Margaritaville had such great music.
Oh, and they had great drinks, too.
Don't forget when you earned your name Lifeboat Captain Bob. You really got your money's worth out of that drink package.
And I really enjoyed being Pirate Pete.
I think my favorite part was the marine life under the sea. Although, dancing with my bossa nova Bob was so dreamy.
I sure didn't enjoy that day of the storm. I still want a Bloody Mary. These are great memories, but I'm looking forward to sleeping in my own bed. I want to go home.
Kids, ooh, I've got to hurry up and get packed. I have all these souvenirs I've been buying all week, and I'm not sure how to cram them in my suitcase. Also, they have the most wonderful freebies on this cruise. I got shampoo and conditioner and lotion, a couple of super fluffy bathrobes, and the cutest little towel animals. I've been saving them all to show you. Oh, and guess what? Because of the big storm, they're comping us with a quick tour to an island. We'll be about 3 hours late getting home.
Hello, my name is Greg Ashurst. I'm the president of the Handbell Musicians of America. And let's give Rick Terry and bring Sarasota one more round of applause. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.